shit in my city.
You know how it is. Your city? Your city?
Yeah, my city.
You don't think I'm gonna hit you with that left hook?
No.
Many fighters like you. I thought that was strong.
Go for it. Go
You go for it. You go for it. You go for it. You're the one that started that shit.
You go for it.
You punching people's heads in. You and Ryan got in it on X the other day. You said he lacks heart and you're gonna make him quit.
Yeah.
You know,
That's not speculation. That's facts. We've seen it. As soon as he gets on top, as soon as he gets a bit rough in there, he don't like it. You know, so I'll go in there and I'll show him. I'll show him what I'm like. Who won't do shit? Who won't do shit? Who won't do shit? Who won't do shit? Yeah, who won't do shit? Who won't do shit? Yeah, cool. Wait till I smash you up. Wait till I smash you up and make you quit. Wait till I smash you up and make you quit.
Yeah, why?
Make you quit.
Hey, you won't make me the fight. Your dad knows you won't make me the fight. Your dad knows you won't make me the fight.
You quit. You have no heart.
Conor Benn slammed Ryan Garcia after a heated face-to-face interview, calling him a social media influencer and saying he's not worried about him. The two fighters exchanged sharp words, making their upcoming fight even more intense.
He's like a big child. He's like a spoiled brat. Throws his toys out of the pram on social media, throwing little tantrums. I'm not really too concerned about this little influencer to my right. He ain't a fighter. He can say whatever he wants. It ain't gonna make no difference come September the 12th. Proven. Yeah, 12-round war proven. I don't quit. I don't stay down.
You're not going to make it 12. There's not going to be a 12-round war. I promise you that.
I don't stay down on one knee.
Look at his hair, bro. He's looking for attention. Look at his hair. He's looking for attention. He ain't going to make it past 12. I promise you. This not be a 12-round war. He's not good enough. He's not good enough to beat me. You think my man's going to beat me? You think I'm going to let a guy from the UK come here and beat me and take my belt? He lost your mind.
Listen, Ryan. Calm down, you're having one of them little episodes. Calm down. I know you're getting all excited. I know you're getting all excited, but I'll come over there and smack them glasses straight off your face.
As the heated press conference intensified, Benn and Garcia went face-to-face in a tense stare-down. Neither fighter backed down, making it clear they are both ready for war in the ring.
Smack them glasses straight off your face. That's what I'll do. Sitting there.
You won't do shit. I promise you won't do shit. I promise you won't do shit.
You're not Mexican, bro. You're not Mexican, bro. You ain't got the heart.
Making a bet.
Yo tengo un huevo más grande que tú, cabrón.
Making a bet.
Me la pelas, pendejo, me la pelas.
Making a bet.
¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Qué vas a hacer tú, cabrón? ¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Hacer algo? Si tú no vas conmigo para Londres, pendejo. Pendejo, va conmigo para Londres, tú ya lo sabes.
The face-to-face interview quickly turned tense as both fighters traded verbal jabs. During the exchange, British fighter Conor Benn pointed at himself and said, 12-round war proven. I don't quit. I don't stay down on one knee. He was referring to Garcia's 2023 loss to Gervonta Davis. Garcia quickly responded by saying, Benn's not going to make it to 12. He's not good enough. He further said, you think I'm going to let a guy from the UK come here and beat me and take my belt? You've lost your mind. Benn kept the verbal pressure on, telling Garcia, wait till I smack you up and make you quit. You have no heart. You're not Mexican, bro. The rivalry between Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia continued to heat up as the exchange moved to X. Benn fired the first shot, calling out Garcia directly and making his intentions clear. He wrote, you talk too much. I'm going to smash your head in. Garcia quickly fired back, responding, I told you in person you aren't a good enough fighter to beat me. You forced yourself in this position. I will show the lesson of rushing into something you just aren't ready for. Crawford's prediction adds even more excitement to the matchup, especially because of his experience at the highest level of boxing. With neither fighter willing to back down, the real answer will come when they finally step into the ring.
To go in a second, but just curious, Shakur, Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn, Ryan Garcia, they're all kind of like, circling each other right now. It seems like right now, it seems like Ryan versus Conor. That's what it seems like. How do you think that fight goes?
I think that's a good fight. I think, of course, Ryan got the experience, but I think Conor got the size and the power, and I think that it's going to be an interesting fight moving forward.
Okay. Do you have a pick?
I'm going to go with Conor.
Really? For real?
I think you're gonna upset him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people picking Conor.
I'm gonna pick him just cause.
Just
I'm gonna go out there
all right.
and pick him.
Wow. Okay.
5:265 minutes, 26 seconds. Ryan Garcia, you might get knocked out. Tony Bellew and Josh Taylor discussed the upcoming Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn fight, focusing on whether Benn is ready for such a big challenge. Bellew defended Benn's recent performance, explaining that he had been fighting at 160 pounds before dropping back to 147, and said losing around 10 pounds of muscle takes time to adjust to. Even so, Bellew believes Benn has not yet reached Garcia's level and questioned whether he truly earned the opportunity, suggesting the fight is happening largely because of its strong commercial appeal.
Conor Benn is far better than people think, but he's what I will say to you is he's not shown he's at Ryan Garcia's level. That's one thing.
That's what. That's yeah. I don't think he's shown that he's worthy of a fight of that magnitude. Other than massive revenue and massive sort of commercially, but he has done well and he has improved a hell of a lot. Like I genuinely think he has improved a lot. But then going off that last performance against Prograis, I thought, wow,
he did look like a different fighter.
I thought it was terrible. But then I got to say, he got to give him benefit of the doubt as well. He's been up at 160. He's had to then come back down to 147. I think he weighed in at 149 or maybe something like that, 150. But again, it's taken that 10 kilos of, or 10 pounds of muscle off, and that has an effect on your body. You've got to give your body time to adjust to pulling that off and be able to.
The discussion then turned to Ryan Garcia's unpredictability. Bellew said Garcia should be the clear favorite if both fighters perform at their best, but noted that his inconsistency makes the fight hard to predict. The analysts also praised Conor Benn's fitness, relentless pressure, and ability to keep a high pace over 12 rounds. They added that Benn has shown better discipline and has followed his game plan well in recent fights, making him a serious threat if Garcia is not at his best.
If I got to the final, I become not only a world champion. If I get to the final, I get the chance to become a unified world.
Duke McKenzie questioned whether Conor Benn can beat Ryan Garcia, especially with the challenge of returning to the 147-pound division after 4 years. He believes making weight could affect Benn's performance and pointed out that Garcia has grown as a fighter through championship experience and tougher competition. Although Garcia hasn't won every fight, McKenzie feels the opponents he has faced are stronger than those Benn has beaten, leaving him doubtful about Benn's chances despite his recent success.
Has not boxed at 147 for 4 years. And when you're trying to make weight and you have to drag to make weight, takes away your A game. Even his A game, I'm not so sure would beat Ryan Garcia, because Garcia is a much improved champion now. Since getting that belt wrapped around his waist, I think he's a much improved champion. He's mixed at higher level. All right, he hasn't won all of his fights, Garcia, but he's beaten some quality fighters that are much better than Conor Benn. I mean, Conor's done a great job in terms of A, getting paid, and B, talking himself into a world title fight. I don't know who does that. I don't know who's done that previously, but he's managed to do it. Now, for him to beat Ryan Garcia, it will take more than just. It's going to take more than just boxing skill, and it's going to take more than just a big punch. I don't think Conor Benn's going to be physically strong enough, because I think it'd be weight drained. I'm not making excuses for him, you understand, but I think it'd be weight drained before the fight, because I think they don't have a weight stipulation where they can put on as much as they want after the weight.
Spencer Oliver questioned why Conor Benn is so determined to return to 147 pounds after 4 years away from the division. He believes the chance for a big payday is a major reason behind the move. Oliver also noted that Benn looked less powerful at around 150 pounds against Regis Prograis than he did at 160 against Chris Eubank Jr., suggesting that cutting those final few pounds is extremely difficult and could affect his performance.
Spectres up there in terms of Boots and Josh Kelly, so he doesn't have an easy pathway there. But why do you boys think, and jump in when you want, that he's made it so unequivocal that he has to fight at 147, given what we've all just said about weight drain and coming back down to that weight again?
Because the opportunity was there at 147. He was made WBC #1 and he was mandatory there, even though he hadn't made the weight, as Duke said, for 4 years, which was absolutely absurd. But the opportunity was there, the big payday is there, and in Conor Benn's head, he'll be saying, yeah, I can still make 147. But I'm with Duke. The reality is he made 150 against Regis Prograis. The punch power had clearly left him down at 150 to what it was against Chris Eubank at 160. And, you know, I think dropping that last 3 pounds, as you guys know, making weight and how difficult that is, that last 3 pounds to the normal guy is like losing 3 stone. And it will take a lot out of him. The reality is, I think we saw against Regis Prograis, 147 is going to be difficult for Conor.
Wade Plemons explained that the rivalry between Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn began long before their fight was announced. He pointed to their first notable exchange at the Ring Magazine Awards in January 2025, where both fighters traded playful but competitive remarks. Plemons said Benn has always shown an intense personality and rarely seems relaxed around other fighters. He believes Garcia understands this and has been intentionally trying to get under Benn's skin during their recent exchanges.
Ryan Garcia winning this fight, I do think that he's on a different level. But again, a rivalry creates the best in both fighters. And with Conor Benn, he will, I think, fight up to his level of competition, which will make him dangerous. Again, we'll see what the power is at 147, but Ryan's been hit on the chin, been dropped. There is something there. They're both power punchers. I do think it fits Ryan's style that Conor is so, you know, fast twitch, and he has to do all these massive, exaggerated movements behind his jab and his right hand. It leaves openings for the quick left hook from Ryan and the right hand from Ryan. But I think all this plays right into what Ryan wants. Ryan wants him to get emotional. Ryan wants him to come after him so he can get on that back foot, throw that.
The discussion then shifted to Ryan Garcia's approach at the press conference. Plemons suggested Garcia is using mind games to get under Conor Benn's skin and provoke an emotional reaction. He compared it to Benn's rivalry with Chris Eubank Jr., where the intense exchanges seemed to influence the emotions leading into the fight. Plemons questioned whether Garcia is trying to create the same situation, making the rivalry even more personal ahead of their showdown.
And really cares about that anymore. I think it really messed with him as a kid, or, you know, as he was coming up in boxing, that he wasn't Mexican enough. But this is on Mexican Independence Day. Maybe Conor Benn can go full on wear, you know, do the Floyd Mayweather thing and wear the Mexican flag. And I'm here fighting for the Mexican people. That might get Conor a bit of a cheer. That might get him a bit more of some fans, because right now it seems like everybody's rooting against Conor, which seems like that happens in most of his fights. But it also might get under Ryan's skin if he goes that route. Really play into the fact that Ryan's not a true Mexican, that he doesn't speak Spanish, that he has no heritage in that he's one of these American talking, you know, social media fighters that ain't really about it. He's kind of doing that. He's not falling for the bait right now. And instead, it's Conor who's getting baited just because Ryan opens his mouth. That's all he has to do is say, you're not good enough to be.
Ariel Helwani said the excitement surrounding Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn continues to grow, calling it an entertaining fight fueled by intense rivalry and strong personalities. He highlighted their heated exchanges, including moments where they spoke in Spanish, which added even more drama. Helwani also noted that both fighters' fathers were involved during the event, adding to the atmosphere. While he believes Garcia has more accomplished options for a WBC welterweight title defense, he feels Benn brings a unique level of excitement to the matchup.
The crowd was great. This is the type of fight that you can bring to a Fanatics Fest type of crowd, and they'd be into it. So the energy was great. Conor Benn busting out the Spanish was a nice little wrinkle. He spends a lot of time in Spain. His Spanish is great, by the way, and I don't know if Ryan speaks Spanish fluently like Conor does, but clearly Conor can hang, so that was fun. The two fathers being up there as well. Henry Garcia kind of got into the shot there, and you could tell Dana didn't love that. He was trying to get him to move away. All good. Nigel Benn there as well. Listen, is it the purest fights, the purest fight fans fight? Maybe not. Are there other people that you would want to see Ryan fight against as far as like a WBC welterweight title defense? Yeah, sure. But this is a fun fight, man. This is a fun fight. It's great for Mexican Independence Day weekend. It's going to be interesting how the UFC is going to do with Noche UFC. I suspect they'll put Noche earlier in the day to lead into.
According to Helwani, Conor Benn may not be viewed as the most accomplished opponent available for Ryan Garcia, but he brings relentless energy, aggression, and excitement. Those qualities make the fight especially appealing, as both fighters are known for their aggressive style and willingness to entertain fans.
Better boxers than Conor Benn that I would rather see Ryan Garcia fight, but as far as like matching his intensity, matching his energy, and Conor Benn is not a top tier boxer of the level that some of these guys that are, the conversation is happening around. But as far as bringing the fight, as far as excitement, as far as energy, like Conor Benn is all of that. And so I love Garcia versus Benn.
It's also the fraud check, right? Like in terms of when Conor Benn signed for Zuffa, the talk from the UK, I remember Dave Allen was on TalkSport and he was like, this guy is the best match fighter of all time. Like, this feels like, okay, well, he's not going to be able to hide in there against Ryan Garcia.
No.
This is going to be an absolute check of his skill. And a lot of people feel like, with the likes of Pro Gray and even the Eubank fights, he was always put in the favorable position. So very interested to see how it goes, just in terms of the fight as well as all this stuff.
And there's also a lot of questions about the actual fight itself. Conor didn't look great in his last fight. Ryan looked amazing. Prior to that, Ryan didn't look great. Conor looked amazing. And so it feels very Jekyll and Hyde-ish. I'm very curious to see who turns.
Simon Jordan shared his honest thoughts on the matchup, raising concerns about the challenge Conor Benn will face against Ryan Garcia. He questioned whether Benn is ready for an opponent of Garcia's caliber and believes Garcia's skill could create serious problems. While Jordan acknowledged Benn's toughness, strength, and determination, he pointed to the gap in experience and overall quality between the two fighters, adding even more intrigue to the build-up.
For a matchup with Conor Benn, who's also signed to Zuffa, but how long before we see Ben Shakur?
Listen, Conor Benn comes through against Ryan Garcia, you'll see that sooner rather than later. That's for sure.
Huge.
Absolutely. So is this fight that Conor's going into now. And so Conor can establish himself as a world champion. Shakur Stevenson is a pound-for-pound star. They both signed with Zuffa Boxing. I don't know how Zuffa Boxing is going to get that money back, by the way. If the rumours are right that I'm hearing, and Shakur Stevenson signed a deal, a 9-figure deal, £100 million, I'm hearing, somewhere around that part, or $100 million. How do they get that sort of money back? That is a big signing. Yeah, he's a great little fighter, but perhaps you need that dance partner, and that dance partner is Conor Benn.
Right. We'll see. 100 million. Lost leader, isn't it? Brings other people in.
Eddie Hearn discussed the differences surrounding the co-promotion between Zuffa Boxing and Oscar de la Hoya, explaining that while not everyone may want to work together, co-promotions are a normal part of boxing. He said Dana White likely wouldn't choose to partner with de la Hoya, but business often requires promoters to do what's necessary. Hearn also noted that promoters cannot completely separate themselves from sanctioning bodies because they control world titles, and he defended Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC, stressing their importance to the sport despite occasional disagreements.
Ring card to start with co-promoted by Oscar and Zuffa. Then they said they're not doing any world championship fights. In fact, Nick Khan stood on the stand to try and abolish the Muhammad Ali Act and belittled Mauricio Suleiman, who, I'll say one thing really important. Whatever you think about Mauricio Suleiman, let me tell you something now. He is boxing through and through, right? I know because I've lived the same life. I've been around boxing since I was 7 years old. So don't start thinking that I don't care about the sport. And Mauricio's the same. Mauricio's dad was so influential in the world of boxing. Mauricio's grown up in that household. Now, I don't agree with every decision Mauricio Suleiman makes, but he's integral to boxing, and more so is the WBC World Championship. And these guys stood on a stand and tried to belittle that organisation and tell everybody they were crooked and they were disgrace to fighters and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? On September the 12th, Mauricio Suleiman will be in the ring on their show. And they'll all have to be with him. And they'll all have to pay homage to the WBC Championship. Because you can't just get rid of them.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. Until next time.